Hello everyone, I'm Christopher, and in this video we are going to take a look at how to add a functionality to our Vue to-do application that allows us to filter between active and completed to-do items. So as we can see at the bottom part of our application, we have these three buttons here. We have the all button, which is going to be responsible for displaying all the to-do items, both completed and active. Now the active button is going to be responsible for displaying only the to-do items that are still active and not yet completed. And obviously, our completed button is going to be responsible for displaying to-do items that have been completed. So let's head over to our code editor. Now we are going to add three variables that are simply going to hold the state of the three buttons we just saw. So the first variable is going to be called all button, and we are going to set this to a string of selected. Then the next variable is going to be active button, and this is going to have a value of null. Then finally we are going to have completed, so completed button, which is also going to have a value of null for now. So let's save all this. So like I said, this all button variable is going to store the state of the all button. Then the active button variable is also going to store the state of the active button. And then finally, the completed button variable is going to store the state of the completed button. So let's go and create a function that will enable us show active to-do items. So we are going to call this function show active. So we are going to say show active. Now we are basically going to copy this line of code here from this part up to the first line because it's the same thing. So we paste this here and then I explain what it does. So the first line of code here simply grabs a fresh copy of the to-dos array and then reassigns it to the to-dos variable, and then we now pick whatever was stored inside the to-dos variable and filter it for only to-do items that are completed, and we do this by ignoring the to-do items that are incomplete. So now that we have done this, we are simply going to change the state of our buttons. So we are going to say first of all this dot all button, and we are going to set this to null because currently this is not the button we have clicked on, so we want the state to be null and not selected. Then we are also going to say this dot active button. Now this is the current button we have clicked on, so we are going to set it to a state of selected. And then finally we are going to say this dot completed button, and this is also going to have a state of null. So let's save all this. Now that we have our function in place, let's head over to our index.html file and add an event listener to the active button. So we are going to add an event listener here by using a Vue directive called v-on, and we are going to add a click event. So we are going to simply pass in the name of the function, so show active. Let's save all this and then we'll head over to our application. So let's reload our application. Now when we click on the active button, we can see that to-do one is shown. That is because to-do one is still active. But the moment I complete to-do one and I click on active, we can see that now we have no active to-do item. So we can add another to-do item. So let's have to-do 2. Now when we click on active, we can see to-do 2 is active. But the moment I complete to-do 2 and I click on active, now none of our to-do items are showing because they are all completed. So let's head over to the code editor again. So let's go to our app.js file and we are going to add another function here that is going to be responsible for showing us completed to-do items. So let's add this function here called ShowCompleted. And this function is going to be responsible for showing us or displaying only to-do items that have been completed. So I'm just going to copy the whole of this code and I'm going to paste it down here. So we're going to filter only the ones that are completed. So I'm just going to say completed here. So now that we are clicking on the completed button, we want to set our active button to, I'm just going to cut this and we'll set it to null, and then we'll rather set our completed button to selected, a state of selected. So let's save all this. Then I'm going to copy the name of this function. Let's go to our index.html file and we'll go to our completed button, add an event listener. So we're going to say v-on click. We are simply going to call the function, and I copied the name, so let's paste it here, save, and let's head over to our application. Now let's reload all this, and we see we get to do 2. So let's add a few to do items. So we're going to have to do 1. Let's also have to do 2, or let's say 3. Save this. Now if we click on active, we can see we only get to do items that are active. If we click on completed, we can see we get only those ones that are completed. So we can go back to active, completed, active, and that is what we have been looking for. So let's go back and then finish up what we started. Let's go to our index.html file, and we are going to add another function that is going to show all the to-do items, whether they have been completed or not. So let's have a function called show all. And so this function is basically going to repopulate our to-dos variable with whatever is currently inside local storage. Then after we've done that, we are simply going to have the same set of codes, except that we are now going to set our all button to a state of selected. So let's copy this here. We're going to paste it over here, and we're going to set this to a state of null, meaning it has not been selected. Let's save all this, go back to our application, reload it. And so now if I say all, we can see all to do items are being displayed. We can click on active, and only active to dos are showed. We can click on completed, and as we can see, only to do 2 which has been completed has been displayed. So let's click on all, and it looks like it's not working. And let's see what we've done wrong. So we have show all. So let's go back here. And the reason is because we have not added an event listener here. So let's have v-on, let's say click, and it's going to be equal to show all. Save all this. Let's go back, reload. So we click on active, completed, all. Now as we can see, when we click on active, we can see that still the all button is rather active instead of the active button itself, and we can see that the all button has a background color to it instead of the active button. So let's go and fix that. So we are going to do some binding, and that is because any button we click on is supposed to have the class of selected. So I'm just simply going to bind this, and we are going to give this class the name of the variables we created earlier on. So let's go back here to the top here, and we see we have all button, we have active button, and so on. So let's go back here. What we are going to do here is all button. So we copy this. We're going to have all, copy, and let's paste it here, save all this, and I'm simply going to copy this and paste this here, also paste it here. And now we are going to change this one to active button. Then we also change this to completed button. So let's go back to our application, reload it. And so now when I click on active, we can see that the active button has an orange background to it. We click on completed, and we can see that that one is now highlighted. If you like, we click on all, and so everything is working as planned. So I think that is going to be all for this video. And if you like these kinds of videos, I urge you to click on the subscribe button, as it will help me create more of these type of videos. And if you feel that there is something I left out of the video, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.